Hi, everybody. Today is, but we're getting close. And this is why we're getting so much information in, and time is so short. There's no time to sleep. There's no time to sleep to get this done. We're just a family. We're not a billionaire. We're not a billionaire. So, and I'm going to address that. Absolutely. Okay, make sure that everything is working. Today is, 1,853 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room and his life was taken. It is August 29th, 2025, and we are getting finally, um, and we have patience. We knew this was going to take long. We knew this was going to take a long time. And I think even Sammy C could could tell you that because he kept on telling me, "Look at Mr. Carrillo. He's been looking for his daughter for 14 years." And we're like, "Okay." Um, you know, uh absolutely we knew because of the immense we knew that this was something really huge with national security. Okay. We knew that Richard had uncovered something. We know our son. We knew that he wanted to be CID. We knew that years and years and years after years. What programs did he want to see on TV? Well, it was crime solvers, right? It was psych and all these PIs, right? Private investigators, Sherlock Holmes, um, uh, Monk, all of these that he just loved. He loved to watch Columbo, and that's so we knew, and we knew his nature. We knew what they were telling us was lies. They were absolutely lying to our face, and we were even saying, can't you find a different way to lie? Because what you're telling us is so absurd that we know it's a lie, right? It's so absurd that we know it's a lie. Um, but we just wanted to um, pray, pray, and do the right thing. And they told us to investigate. By the way, the families of the Plenitude Crematorium um, that have absolute connections to that doing business and getting business, let's just say using that funeral home, because it's a funeral home, believe it or not. I mean, disgusting. Um, uh, but people were using that uh, to get their loved ones cremated, and they were given urns full of just like animal dust or mortar dust back in urns, and were charged, right? And now they are filing all kinds of complaints to get to the bottom of, well, to get all of those remains identified, to find their loved ones, so that they can bury them properly. And, uh, they have been told that they have to investigate themselves. They have been told, this is our intel coming out, that they have to investigate themselves. This is really we absolutely, our hearts, just break because we absolutely know how that feels because the command and CID, 15 plus agencies, we were told to investigate ourselves and bring them leads that otherwise they couldn't help us. And so, here we are over 5 years later, and we're getting very, very close. And we know that it is because Richard was reporting on the Walmart mass shooting. that's directly connected to his unit. Directly connected to his unit. That's why we know it's an orchestration. We know it's an orchestration that some very wealthy people that control a lot of people put together. That they put it together to clean house. It's bloody. It's very bloody. They killed a lot of people, but those people have connections. And when you look deeper into the connections, it wasn't a white supremacist hit. It wasn't a racist hit. It was a cleansing. It was absolutely a cleansing, the Walmart was. And it was used to, uh, uh, I guess you would say fabricate, yes, fabricate a false narrative to attack President Trump, their political opponent. And who was running for president at the time? Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke was running. El Paso wanted to be the epicenter. El Paso wanted to control the White House. All of our evidence shows that El Paso leadership that were very corrupt, that are very corrupt, that have uh, filled their belly with corrupting Texas, with corrupting El Paso and New Mexico, um, decided they wanted Washington, D.C. They wanted that. And so Beto O'Rourke used Ernest Christopher Grant, the big fat criminal liar. He's a criminal, he's a liar, and he's been arrested. He's been arrested many times, but now he's really been arrested. And he used him, who did so much harm with the false narrative, right? Really bad false narrative. And then they got their media um, to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And Ernest Christopher Grant became a media sweetheart, right? And it really showed you all the media that is complicit in all of this. The media are real scum. They are real scum. President Trump is very right when he says that. They're real scum. They're worse than the cartel. Maybe they're worse than the cartel because the cartel couldn't exist unless they were getting coverage by the media. And this connects to, of course, he's calling out Soros in El Paso, the person that really pulls the strings. A lot of the strings, his name is Woody Hunt. His name is Woody Hunt, and he has some others. Paul Foster, Paul Foster's wife, Alejandra de la Vega, and of course, they have Rick Francis. These are very wealthy people, billionaires. They're billionaires. And you would think that they would be satisfied with their billion, that they would be satisfied with their sports clubs, with their sports teams, with all the things that their billions have bought them. You would think that they would be satisfied with that. But what has happened in the last, in the last years, it's really, I guess, the source of their wealth comes from illegal actions. That's the only thing that makes sense why they keep going and pulling off such evil stunts, such evil crime. Um, and so they absolutely um, are losing. Uh, well, let's just say they're getting shaken up. They're getting shaken up. And who's doing that? Is it us? No, it's not us. It's President Trump. President Trump is doing it. President Trump, he was being attacked. Okay, he was being attacked, and and now he understands they're criminal, that they're intertwined with the cartel, that they are the El Paso cartel. They really are. And so the first thing he did was designate the Sinaloa cartel and the New Generation cartel, the Jalisco, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, New Generation cartel as FTOs, because legally that really puts them in a very, very tough spot. Turning off the spigot of um, the USAID, turning off the spigot to PBS and NPR. Um, there's a reason why President Trump did that, because he's trying to secure our national borders, our national security. He's trying to absolutely take down this infiltration, this cartel infiltration that is serving foreign and domestic enemies and putting us in great, great danger and great weakness because of all the trafficking that they were doing out of Fort Bliss. I'm talking about anything that's not bolted down, and even that they would try to pull up and traffic. And of course, hundreds of thousands of children, and of course, substances, and because you have billions of dollars, what can you buy for that? Can you control Texas Tech? Can you own Texas Tribune? Can you? I mean, you just have to go look at the financials of Woody Hunt and Paul Foster. Go look at the financials, and then you will understand what's going on in Texas, what's going on in the United States, because El Paso is the front door, and you have to look at the financials of what these people own and what they control. And Texas Tribune is controlled by Woody Hunt. That is just a fact. El Paso Community Foundation is controlled by Woody Hunt. El Paso Community Foundation is the parent company of El Paso Matters, of Bob Moore. Um, and of course, Texas Tribune now just reported on the Minneapolis, Minnesota shooting, uh, the Catholic church shooting. And what did they do? Uh, they didn't offer up prayers like they should, right? They didn't offer up um, a team to get justice, to look into the medical, the the mental health problems of this young man, right? This young man that ended up dead, right? And ended up killing uh, two children and injuring far more, far more. I think the last time I heard was 18. Maybe it's higher now. Okay. Um, what is Texas Tribune doing? Are they doing anything that's productive for the people, to make America great again? Or is that what they're doing? No, that's not what they're doing at all. They are doing the same playbook that they did with the Walmart mass shooting. They are conducting the same playbook. The the opponent for Tony Gonzalez is Brandon Herrera. Okay. Everyone knows that. The opponent for Tony Gonzalez is Brandon Herrera. And Tony Gonzalez is supported by this billionaire group in El Paso. Okay. And so his team wants to keep control over El Paso. And of course, Veronica Escobar's control over Fort Bliss. But Veronica Escobar is really losing favor very quickly. It's very clear. And so, who would run Fort Bliss if they just didn't find any more use out of Veronica Escobar? They would use Tony Gonzalez. Tony Gonzalez is the Siamese twin of Veronica Escobar. And Tony Gonzalez um, is taking this opportunity. His team is taking this opportunity to leverage a real disaster, a real hate crime against um, Brandon Herrera with false narratives. And so Brandon Herrera, his first response was really to cuss, right? To cuss because, and I think, maybe he should have seen this coming because it really is, um, a dirty politics there. And I think that he should have absolutely seen that coming, that they would play dirty politics like this and be prepared. But by his ex post, it didn't seem like he was so prepared. And the first response to their false attack, they're spinning a story, they're fabricating a story, was to cuss. And, for good reason, for a really good reason. But now he has gathered himself and put together a video. Because they're coming at you. They're coming at you, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to answer this. So right now, he is just really surrounded by this false narrative um, in favor of Tony Gonzalez. And he has evidence, but their false narratives are so powerful. You see what Bob Moore did to us. You see what Rose Thayer did to Richard. What Bob Moore did to Richard. They can put out these big lies and big false witness testimonies using convicted criminals, bad sources, and people just hear it and they think they believe it, and it's wrong, it's false. And so Richard now has been designated as a national hero. It's for the National Archives, and it's even better than a national hero when you read President Trump's letter. So, but that's not what the the propaganda machine operatives, the propaganda cartel operatives, because that's what they are. They're working for the cartel, and the cartel is El Paso Cartel. Can you imagine how much taxpayers' money that they have extorted and then called it their own? Called it their own, and now maybe Woody Hunt is not really um, a billionaire. Maybe it's a lot of stolen funds, right? God knows, absolutely, God knows. So, but they absolutely are manipulating the system to feed off the system, to extort from the system. And it's very, very clear. And so the clearer things get for us, we also get attacked. And so this last week, and I've alluded to it, but we had to really do some research. We had to put together, um, our thoughts and identify the crime, um, document the crime, and then file the crime. And so, that was, and I'm still um, really absorbing the magnitude of this harassment because Patrick Brookshire, he's he's a state trooper. He's a state trooper, and you think that I've always loved our state troopers in Texas, right? I just love them, and maybe I shouldn't have. I just love them so much because they just made me feel like safe. But with all of this going on, there is just absolute compromise and cartel activity within the DPS. And so for Patrick Brookshire, aka Bro Pecans, to attack us like this, and us being a Gold Star family and Richard being a national hero, right? He is a national hero, whether Bro Pecans likes that or not. Richard is a national hero. He's been designated that. And so if you engage in harassing our family and dirtying his name, there is a part of the stolen valor that has been violated. And so, there's a lot of violations in this, but this one means the most to me because Patrick Brookshire, aka Bro Pecans, is a veteran. He's a veteran. And so he knows better. He knows better. Um, and he risks, he gets like 98, I think public disclosure says he gets like $98,000 a year in salary. He's risking all of that for doing this. So who is he protecting? You know, what is he protecting? If he's going to risk that much and he's connected through his family to the uh, um, Maja. Uh, I knew I was going to mess up on that name. But the Fong family who owned the Dreams Cabaret. Um, yeah, he is by marriage connected to that Dreams Cabaret, where the prime suspect in our son's murder case was receiving her mail. She was receiving her mail there. And so, that really puts things into perspective, that not only is his family connected to Dreams Cabaret, but also to Delia Baronis. Okay. Um, which, I just want to say thank you so much to our followers for tipping us off on all of this. We're so appreciative for all these tips, because Delia Baronis now has come under the scope for us. Apparently, she's been under the scope of President Trump, but he knows the system really well, right? And for us, we just spent a few days looking into her and her actions. And oh my gosh, she really, really, I'll let the authorities answer. Um, but she has committed, geez, I'm getting tired. It's almost 2 o'clock, right? She has committed so many crimes. She's committed so many crimes because the district clerk in El Paso, I mean, the county clerk office in El Paso, they handle all of that paperwork, all of the seals, um, going back and forth across the border for death certificates, for marriage certificates, for birth certificates, for all kinds of documents. She is the gatekeeper. Delia Baronis is the gatekeeper. And so her being crooked is just devastating for national um, security. It's just devastating. And so we are sticking with this to expose all of this and to have a trooper that is a trooper getting that kind of money, $98,000 a year from the taxpayers, um, and having the family connection to the Fongs, which have a long history of no good, and then family connections to Delia Briones, also no good, up to no good. Um, it tells you it tells you something. It tells you something. So, and of course, I put up Kyle Eswick's matching game. See if you can figure it out. I should put an answer key there. Um, but I think it's very important try to figure that matching game up because he is he's like Nadal Beam. He is big. He's a big player in all of this. He's a huge player in all of this. So that is really what I wanted to talk to all of you about tonight. And I think I'm going to have to force myself to try to sleep for a little bit because there's no time for sleep. You have to fight, fight, fight to get justice, to force them into doing what is right. Um, you really have to navigate all of that. You have to do it with diplomacy. You have to do it by the law. It's it really is something to see how far we've come, and that we are very close at getting the answers that we have searched so long for. So thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you for your prayers and your love, and offering prayers and love to the families of the children from the Catholic Church in Minneapolis. So many prayers going to you. And, this whole thing, I'm going to address the mental health tomorrow because that's a really big part in all of this. So thank you so much. And I hope you come back. And I'm so glad you're sticking with us. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow.